But they're saying we are given the following. So I'm going to do this one. And then now you're going to come and do, you see the rest again. The 8, yeah. So the idea here is that we should be able to determine the coordinates of the turning point if we are given this thing in a standard form. So what we did yesterday, it was given in a turning point form, right? So now we want to take this thing and then we get the turning point. Now, how do we get the turning point? There are so many ways in which we can get the turning point. I'm going to show you all the different ways in which it can be done. Whenever you choose the best one for yourself. So the first way in which you can do this thing here is to complete the squares. Now, what is completing the squares? Completing the square basically is to add half of b and then you square it. So what you want to do is to add half of b and then you square it. But now there are hints, there are things that we need to know before you do that. Before you can even complete the square, number one, you need to understand which the value of a here should be equal to 1. That's the rule. Before you can even complete the square, the value of a should be equal to 1. To 1. That's where we are going to start. Now, let's come and check. Remember, this thing here should be in a standard form. What is the standard form? The standard form is equal to ax squared plus bx plus 1 plus c. Now, if we say this is in a standard form, what is going to be the value of a here? What is going to be our a here? Okay. What is going to be our b? What is going to be our c? -8. So, if a is equal to 1, then you can start to complete the squares. You can't complete the squares if a is not 1. And then when I say 1, I mean 1, not -1. It's 1. A should be negative. A should be 1 before you can complete the squares. Okay, now if a is not equal to 1, how then do you make a to be 1? You're going to divide by whatever is here. If it's -1, you're going to divide by -1. Okay? If it's -2, you're going to divide by -2. If it's 2, you're going to divide by 2. You divide each and every term. Is that clear? Okay, fortunately for us, the one that I'm doing here, our a is 1. That's the good news. So if our a is 1 here, then I am going to say, I want to get the coordinates of the turning point. So in number a, number 1, this is how I'm going to do it. I am going to say I have f of x, which is going to be equal to x squared minus 2x plus, it's -8. -8. This is the one that I'm doing. Okay. Okay, now if I take this one here and then I want to complete the squares, this is what we are supposed to do. We're going to have f of x, which is going to be equal to x squared minus 2x plus, you're going to add the half of b and then you square it. Whatever b is, you're going to add the half of b and then you square it. Now, since that thing is, you are going to put it with a different color so that you see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to say plus here. And then I am going to add the half of b. What is my b here? It's -2 again. So I'm going to put -2 all over 2 and then I square it. I'm adding the half of b and then I square it. That's what we mean when we complete the squares. But I still have my 8. Okay? What is the 8? 8. Negative. Okay? So I still have -8 here. Now, guys, in mathematics, like you can't just do things. Like you are not allowed to do things. So what we're going to do, we're going to add it and then subtract it. Like again, I can't just come up with things out of nowhere. Okay? So what I'm going to do is to add it, and then after adding it, I'm going to do what to subtract it. So here, I'm also going to come and take exactly the same thing here. I'm subtracting it. I add it, and then after that, I do what? I subtract it. So here, if I subtract it, I'm going to have -2 all over 2. This is going to be what? All squared. Are we still fine? Okay. Now here, you're going to come and check which this thing here is divisible by 2. If it's divisible by 2, then you divide it. And then you're going to have f of x, which is going to be equal to x squared. Okay? So you have x squared minus 2x plus this thing here. If you type this in your calculator, you're going to say -2 divided by 2. Okay? What is -2 divided by 2? It gives us -1 all squared. And then I still have -8 again. Minus, I have here -1 all squared. Remember, guys, I started by adding this thing again. And then after adding it, I did what? I subtracted it. Now, why is this important? Why is this important? I'm going to factorize this. This can be factorized, this one here. This one here is going to be factorized. Look at this thing here. How do I factorize it? The simplest way to factorize this is to do this. Is to say we are going to take everything that has a square on this 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to put it this way. We're going to have f of x, which is going to be equal to. So you're just going to open a bracket. When you open your bracket, you're going to put everything that has a square. So this one has a square. Okay? Put it inside. And then you put a square here. And then you come and check this one. Does it have a square on it? This one, does it have a square on it? It has a square. Okay? And then you are going to put 1 minus 1. I'm still fine. Okay. And then after that, I'm simply going to type this in my calculator. This part here, these two are like terms, I can add them. So if I type this in my calculator, here's what I'm going to have. I am going to have minus 8. It's minus 1 all squared. It gives us minus 9. And then you see with this thing now, it looks like something that you have done before. Okay? Look at this thing here. It looks exactly like this. We've been doing this thing before. Like it looks exactly like this one. Can you see that? Now it means what you can determine the coordinates of the turning point. What are going to be the coordinates of the turning point? It's 1 is to 1 is to minus 9. Is this the only way you can get the turning point? No. This is one of the ways in which you could get the turning point. Let's check another way. Another way we can use something which we call a formula. There's a formula which says which you can get it by saying x is going to be equal to minus b all over 2a. Now here you come and check which one is a, what is b, what is c again. Now x is going to be given as minus open bracket. What is your b here? It's minus 2 all over close bracket. 2 multiplied by, what is your a? It's 1. And then if you type this in your calculator, it's going to give you negative and negative again. Positive. And then we have 2 all over 2. What is 2 all over 2?
It's 1.
It's 1. So this is going to be the x coordinate of the turning point. You see, I think you got 1 here. Now you got 1. Now you want to get the other one. How to get the other one? I'm going to take this one and then I'm going to substitute it here on this equation. If you substitute it on that equation, you're going to have f of 1. Meaning everywhere I see x, I'm going to put what? 1. Then it says I'm going to have 1 all squared minus 2 multiplied by 1 minus 8. If you safely type this in your calculator, it's going to give you what? Minus 9. Then the coordinates of your turning point, if you use this method, is going to say that it's 1 is to 1 is to minus 9. Now from here, guys, I'm going to tell people to you know how to get y-intercept again. You know how to get the x-intercept. Also know how to draw the graph again. So I'm just showing you how to get the turning point. I showed you 2 ways, Anish. Those are not the only 2 ways. We are going to show you another one tomorrow. So for now, whenever you're going to do using these 2, it's up to you which